Hi, today I'm going to be sharing with you the worst investment that I've ever made. That cost me 4 years and tens of thousands of pounds. So, my name's Shamash Aladina. I'm author of Mindfulness for Dummies. And I'm going to share with you the story, first of all, of the degree that I chose. So, after I finished GCSEs and A levels when I was around 17, 18 years old, I had to choose what degree to study. And I had no idea about things like mindfulness or awareness or any of this stuff at all. I just knew about your regular stuff, normal stuff. So I was just interested in getting a job, making a good income, and moving on from there. So I went to the careers advisor's office. Had no idea what to do. I was good at science, and first of all, I considered medicine, being a doctor, but the careers advisor advised against it. So I just, that's a separate story. Probably good advice. And so then the next thing on the list that had the highest income was chemical engineering. So I thought, not too sure what that is, but I'll just do that. So I signed up for that and I went off and I studied it for 4 years. So I got into a good university and spent 4 years of hard study, late nights or working all night. I got the maximum amount of student loans that you could get at the time. Luckily, I didn't have to pay for the actual course. That was just before they started charging for university courses, but still I had to pay for accommodation type stuff and travel, getting there, and all the other expenses of being a student when you're not making a normal income. So got myself into thousands of pounds of student loan debt. And after those halfway through, I discovered that actually this is totally the wrong thing. I don't enjoy this at all. And I had the experience of making an income and feeling that sense of emptiness when spending the money, because I was making the income doing something I wasn't enjoying. I was sitting in an office making money, but I wasn't enjoying it at all. But I thought, the money's going to make me happy. But spending it and not getting that feeling, and then feeling, hang on a minute, what am I doing with my life? So that ended up being the worst investment. And I think I was just looking up the word investment actually this morning, and kind of comes from the word vest, vest. And I think that means to clothe, as in clothes, and invest is to be clothed. And then it kind of transferred into investments in terms of financial investments later on, 16th or 17th century, somehow linked to the Italian root meaning, I think, investere or something. Anyway, I think of investment as the time and money we put into things, and time is probably even more valuable, right? So I put in all these 4 years of time and effort as well as an investment, and the financial side of things, money as well. So I'd put all that money in, and on one sense, it seems like a total waste. And I actually don't think like that, but a lot of people, if they saw what I do now, they'd be like, wow, you wasted all that time going to that good university to get this great degree, and then you wasted it. You didn't use it at all. But actually, when I think back at it, there's another way of looking at it too, which is if I didn't go to that university, it was Imperial and it's in South Kensington, and I wasn't taking the underground every day, I wouldn't have seen the poster about the philosophy class, which introduced me to meditation, and then found out about mindfulness, which led me to doing what I am doing now. So in a way, I had to go through the whole journey of learning and studying mindfulness and all that to be able to discover that. But this morning I was also reflecting on, when did how else have I invested in myself? So that was just in a way, just following the crowd. Everybody else that was at my school was going to university, so I just did the same thing as everybody else was. But when did I actually choose to invest in myself? And the first investment, I would say, was probably to go to this philosophy class. It was really cheap because I was a student, £20 for 12-week course or something. My first investment, really good one. And then following that, I did teacher training to become a school teacher, and that was paid for kind of by the government. So the investment was only in the time there, and that was tough, but it was good because that got me to teach in a school where the children did meditation for almost 10 years. I worked there. But then I guess the next investment, or actually now I want to go in a different direction. First of all was life coaching. So, that was all the rage at that about 10, 15 years ago. Maybe it's still now, I don't know. But I looked into that and invested in a little bit of training in that. And again, that was quite a low level of investment in terms of time and money. But that's when I did a visualization and I realized actually my ideal work would not be life coaching, but it would be teaching people meditation in my home or wherever. So that was a great investment, and that was an investment in myself. And after that, it was a much bigger investment, and that was my investment in training to be a mindfulness teacher. And at that time, there were very few options. There was nothing online at all. It was all involving traveling to different parts of UK and the United States as well, expensive programs, which I did. And so that was a really big investment in myself, but that was like the best investment I've ever made, I think, because of it's led to all the books that I've written and all the work I've done since then. And that was a scary moment, but it was also, when I think back at it, I'm very happy that I did it. And although I have mixed feelings now about the teacher training program I did, and that's why I ended up developing my one, I'm pleased that I did it. It was an investment in myself. And since then, I've made the other thing that I discovered then after being a mindfulness teacher is investing in going to events and conferences, actually. And that was a bit of a eye opener for me. When I first became a mindfulness teacher, I was probably earning less than £1 an hour, very, very little amount of money, just about surviving. But I saved my money, and gradually I was able to afford, after a few years, to go to a conference and go to events abroad, and really, really enjoyed that. And I carried on doing that for a few years, actually. So they were great investments. And now I continue to invest regularly in myself, doing different courses and trainings in all sorts of different areas. And my breaking news for today is that investing in yourself is the best investment of them all. We can invest in your home. That's a good one if you can, lucky enough to be able to afford that. Or you can invest in, lots of people, or some people buy stocks and shares and things like that. These are external investments. But what about internal investments? How do we invest in ourselves? And we can invest in ourselves with time, by doing things like mindful practices and meditations and yoga and all the stuff, going for walks, spending time with friends. In a way, it's a kind of a self-investment, which kind of reaps dividends. But then there's also the investment of training and learning. This is a free thing, but you can have paid versions of it too. And that's an investment, and it leads to benefits. And so, it's about getting the balance right. Sometimes you have no money at all and you just need to invest your time. And sometimes you actually manage to save some money and you kind of invest it. So, yeah, I think it's kind of an attitude, a way of being, a way of living, a way of seeing the world to value. And it's a kind of an act of self-compassion as well. The time and or money that we invest in ourselves is almost like an act of self-compassion, isn't it? Like, no, I deserve this. I deserve to spend this time or this money on myself to grow, to cultivate, to improve. But the one thing I want to also want you all to note is that all these different investments in ourselves is not so much to make us better as a human being, because I believe that we are the transcendent self, the pure awareness, and there's nothing wrong with anyone at all. But we can, we have thoughts, emotions, and sensations, and we can do these different trainings to learn more about ourselves and be able to help and support others, and that's important too. So just like we so many people are paying these monthly bills for things like phones and computers and TVs and all these kinds of things. Was it Netflix and Spotify and all that? People invest in that on a monthly basis quite often, but how many people invest in themselves? And I'd say maybe quite a lot of you, if you're watching this, because you think about these things. It's a nice thing to reflect on, like, what does it mean to invest in yourself? How much do you spend in terms of your budget, the percentage of your time and money for self-investment. And would you like to do more of it or less of it? So it's a nice thing to reflect on. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow morning for some more insights. Any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I can answer them all. And also they can be inspiration for future sharings live. So if you've got any comments or questions or insights, I'd be very, very happy to read them in the comments. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you soon. Bye for now.